Okay, so I am recording. Thank you guys for popping on with me on this Monday night. But I just wanted to share something with you guys because it's just something that's happening over and over and over and over again, and it's just not okay. It's just not okay that all of these new consultants are just not getting trained. And so I've been doing a lot of self-reflection on myself and some other leaders have talked about it. And so I just felt like I needed to do something a little different. So you guys know in the past, I've just had like a new consultant checklist. And the problem with that was that a lot of the things I was doing was in my head and it wasn't necessarily on paper. And people would say, well, when do you contact this person? And when do you do this? And when do you do that? And I would just kind of say, well, whenever I have time, which isn't a good enough answer because for me, I know I'm not going to leave my new consultants hanging. I'm going to train them. I'm going to get them the things that they need. But there's other people in this business and there's leaders in this business that are not doing what they are supposed to do when it comes to training their team. And it's going to end because that's just not what we do here. We train our people. We don't rely on somebody else to train our people. And I don't know if some of you guys realize this. And if you're brand new, just ignore me for right this second. But since he can ask you, AKA force you, to take a non-leadership role if you are not going to do your job as a sponsor and take care of your team. For instance, if you're just not training them, you're not doing anything for them, but then you go and put in 500 so you get paid off of them, like that's not okay. And that's not what we do. And so I decided, let me come up with something that maybe will help people get their people trained more effectively. So the first thing I want to say is my personal team has already sponsored or brought in 70 new people since May 1st. Our entire group has brought in 205. And that's amazing, guys. Like, that is life changing. And it's great. But what we don't want to happen is 205 people to join our teams and be floating around like fish, not having any idea what's going on. And I'm going to be really honest with you. I send my new consultant email to every single person that I am their director. And I know that the new consultants are not watching my boot camp videos because number one, we're getting silly questions on the team page that were answered in those 5 very short videos. And number two, I can see the views on my YouTube channel. So I know that those videos are not necessarily being utilized. Now, if people are using the videos from Cincy, great. But what I think is happening is that they're just kind of trying to figure it out and they're missing information because, for instance, last week we had probably 10 people say that they had no idea what a perpetual party reward is. That is for a lack of training, and that is a leadership problem. And that's a me problem too. I'm not just preaching to you guys, but we have got to train these people because if you want to build a big business, you've got to build the people. It doesn't matter if you sponsor 15 people this month if you don't train them. Because what's going to happen is they're going to get a bad taste in their mouth and they're not going to want to be a part of us because they're going to think that, oh, we're all in this like alone. Like, you are your own business owner, but you don't have to do this alone. So I want you guys to realize that I don't want the same thing to happen when we had the $15 join and all those people canceled whenever they canceled. I mean, we lost over 200 people. And that was because a lot of people didn't get trained. And I've seen some amazing rock stars join in May that have hit shooting star, that have promoted to lead, that have promoted to star. Like, we've had some amazing things happen. So we want to make sure that we're doing everything in our power. Okay. So, and Anna, that's exactly where I'm at. Anna said that she feels like she has cracks that she needs to fill. Not that I'm not training, but I feel like I'm missing something or not being as intentional, being completely honest. And you know what? As leaders, I think we should always be self-reflecting on that. So I'm going to do a lot of screen sharing tonight to show you guys what I came up with. And I'm going to get you, I do want you guys to give me feedback. And I want you guys to tell me, like, if you see something that you like think I missed that I need to put on there, any pointers. Like, this is a pretty much a very, very rough draft. I've kind of taken the things that I know that I do and some things for some other leaders. So the first thing I want to share, oh, well, I guess it would help if I shared my screen. The first thing I want to share with you guys is this right here. So I created this. I hate how Zoom does the little drop down thing. I created this for my brand new consultants. And what I realized was that I was doing my team members a disservice by not sending them this as well electronically. So what I am going to say is that I do have new consultant welcome packets that I send to people that I personally sponsor, because you cannot send welcome packets to, I would not be sending welcome packets to 70 people. Like, you have to do things that are replicatable. So I am sending a copy of these and some other goodies in the mail. But everybody else is going to, that is on my team, is now going to get one of these little packets with their email. The link is going to be in there. And these are just different things that I've kind of put together, a little fun bingo game they could play. A lot of this stuff is, and you can zoom in when you have it up there, but this is just the new consultant awards. This is just lots and lots of information, and it's stuff that I've kind of picked and choose. I know some of it is going to be in the consultant hand guide. These right here I really, really like, because a lot of people like to have that like tangible thing to look through. So, and I used to do a bunch of little individual papers, and it really just got out of hand. So that's why I put all of this in one document. And then there's a sensational start tracker. Now down here, the getting paid thing, if you did Guide to Growth with us, these are the images that I had created for being in Guide to Growth. So like when they get paid, stuff like that. The paycheck pro tips, the compensation plan, the 3 legs of success. You just joined, it's time to get to work, with the 3 legs, or the 3 different sections of PRV. And then here is the shipping chart, where it gives information up here about 10 business days. I created this about paying for orders because a lot of new consultants have those questions about, like, how do I pay with cash? Can I use payment apps, etc. Business supplies. And if you are on pretty much any of our director team pages, you're going to see almost all of these images are in a new consultant album. If they haven't uploaded them yet, they can absolutely go to my team page and take every single one of these pictures. I've put them in an album so that these are always there for you. So here's an example of a scam email. That's something that I feel like we don't really talk about to new consultants a lot until it comes up. So that's something I put in here. This right here is a chart where it talks about how, like, the host base is different from like your PRV if you've had online orders. I know that's something that people get confused about. I stopped calling it the list of 100 about a year ago. And the reason why I did that is because people see the number 100 and they automatically feel defeated if they feel like they don't know enough people. So I started calling it your Frank list. I still talk to my people and tell them I want them to come up with about 100 people. But I just put one in there. And then this is obviously more useful for my people that I mail this to, but this is a QR code to my Google Drive and things of that nature. So that's the first thing that I wanted to share with you guys, okay? Now, these are all of the different links. Something that I found was that the information is really hard to find if you're brand new. You don't really know what you're looking at. And if you're a brand new sponsor and you're a brand new consultant at the same time, you really have no idea what you're looking for and all of that. So what I did here, guys, is, let me see. Okay. What I did here is I literally linked these things directly from Cincy. So, and I think that it's really, really important as a sponsor to know what is on the new consultant checklist because that's been updated. And I know like before I used to say, well, I'm not going to train you till you've done your new consultant checklist. Well, we can't do that anymore because part of the new consultant checklist is closing their launch party. So you can't say, oh, I'm not going to train you till you finish your checklist, right? These are the new consultant emails. This is something I did want to talk to everybody about. This is the daily power hour. You guys have probably seen different versions of this, but it's really, really good even for like us, especially if you're trying to like get in the routine of doing things daily. So I'm not going to read all of that to you, but these are basically the things that they want you to do. Just like I've talked about doing my top three income producing things. And then these right here are the vital behaviors of being a Cincy consultant. So you're prospecting, you're recognizing your team, you're keeping up to date by your team page, training center, all of these different things. These are things that are now ingrained in our brain because we do them all the time. But for brand new people, if they're like, okay, I want to grow a big business, what do I really need to be doing? These are the things that they could start to practice daily. Do I think that they need to print this out and do this every day? Well, no. But if they want to hold themselves accountable, they can write it, they can write in, they can type in, they can do all of those things. And down at the bottom, it has lots of different information. So if you do want to build a big business, those are the things you need to be doing, following up, making connections, all of that. Okay, now down here, guys, is all of the different lists of my YouTube channel, my Google Drive, all of the different things, guide to growth, business supplies list, people to subscribe to, and then my book and podcast list, all the different things that I can think of that you guys would need in one document. So like I said, this is a lot of stuff that I was doing in my head. And I do say that there's homework, and this is sort of to keep me accountable, but it could also be something that you could use with your new consultant if you wanted to. Like if you wanted to give this to them to say, okay, well, here's your homework. These are the things I'm going over with you anyway. You could absolutely do that. And so what I did over here was I just put a timeline around it, because obviously if someone joins and they don't have time to meet with you right away, obviously it can be a little bit longer. But real quick, let me back up. Hey, Sue said something really, really good last week when we were doing a training. Like, we need to know why these people joined. And that needs to be a question that we need to know. Like, why did they join? Did they join for friends? Did they join because they love fragrance? Did they join because they felt like they had to? Like, and I mean, and some people may say, like, if you go back and have that conversation, and it's important to know, do they have another job? So like my people know I'm a teacher. Typically I'm actually teaching at a school all day, not at home. And so it's very different when it comes to communicating with them. And then what is their goal with this business? Because the way that you are going to train somebody, if they want to change their life or if they just want to put in 200 every 4 months, is going to be very different based on their goal, especially when it comes to the timeline here, where it comes to like 1 to 2 days after enrollment by the 15th day. Like if somebody is just joining as a hobbyist and they tell you that and they're like anti try and earn shooting star, don't pressure them. And I say that because you don't want them to just completely go away. But I will say this, I joined to only buy from myself. But once I hit Shooting Star, once I found out I could buy that kit for a cheaper price, I was like, oh, well, your girl's going to hit Shooting Star and be able to purchase that kit if I choose to. So still set that goal with them, but don't push them too far. So like I said, these are a bunch of touch points. What I'll say about these touch points and the things right here in the homework, they are literally going off of the first things first checklist and my new consultant boot camp. It's not anything extra. I mean, there may be some things that are just a little bit maybe in a different order, but I'm not making things up. I'm literally just reiterating and writing down some things that we need to talk about. And like I said, a lot of these things are things that I was doing, but it was nowhere near, it wasn't replicatable when it came down to teaching a brand new consultant how to train, because my other new consultant checklist, I can share that with you later, is just this, each person would get their own. Okay, so session 2, and when I say these different sessions, I don't want you guys to put yourself in a box and feel like you have to break it down into actually just 5 different sessions. That's up to you how you are going to work it. And that's going to be what works for you. But what I tried to do was kind of like bulk things together that made sense. Okay. And so, like I said, these are just the things I don't want to read to you guys, but if you are able, if you're a brand new consultant, you're able to check off that you talked to somebody about the host rewards and the perpetual party reward, then there should be no reason that anybody on our team is letting a half off go to waste. Okay. And also, I want you to keep in mind, guys, that when these new consultants join, they are inundated. When I say inundated, you guys remember what it was like to be brand new. You were getting emails from your sponsor, probably. You were getting welcomed to a team page. You were getting emails from Cincy. You're having to log into the workstation. You're trying to figure out why there's not a workstation app. You are having Pay Portal, which is separate from everything. These new consultants are overwhelmed. And there are 2 types of people in the world. There are people who are overwhelmed and they're going to dig right in and go figure out all the information. Or there's people that the overwhelm is going to freeze them and they're going to do nothing because they don't even know where to start. And that is why I have those 12 new consultant videos, and me being the leader that I am, I self-reflected and was like, I'm giving them way too much information. Like, no, they don't need to be doing all those 12 videos the second they hit join. That is why I redid the boot camp, and those videos are 5 minutes or less, because anything longer than that, people don't want to watch. They're going to lose focus, etc. So use those things. Please use them. Even your directors, like, absolutely use them. That is why they're there. That's why I created them. Not because I want just my people to use them. I want everybody to use them. And it's not being like crazy that like you guys are using them. Like, I'm doing it for you until you're able to make your own videos. So, Jen, what do you mean what I send? Like my new consultant welcome packet, or
yeah, like what do you put in the email that you send to everyone, not just your immediate downline, so that way I'm not sending like the exact same things that you are? I think that's what kind of holds me back, because I don't want to overwhelm somebody by sending the exact same things like
okay.
twice.
And that's a good question. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to write that down. So I am going to add in, I'll show you guys where I'm going to add it. That's a great thing. Now, if you guys are on here and I am not your director, you need to talk to your director about what they are going to do, because I do not send any emails to people who have their own director, because that's like, I am their director and that's who I'm going to send it to. So like Anna Watson, Blair, Emily, they are your director. So you need to talk to them about exactly what they are going to send. And what I'm going to do, Jen, is I'm going to put it up like the first thing under resources. I'm going to just put in a copy of what I send. And it is very, very simple. It is going to have this welcome packet in it. It's going to have a link to my new consultant boot camp. It's going to have a link to the guide to growth training. It's very simple. Now, what I do, guys, is I send the exact same thing to people that join my team, like I'm their sponsor, or Jen, if they join you because you're on my team, I send them the exact same thing, no matter what. Because, guys, eventually you are going to get to the point where it's going to be too much to do separate things. So, like, for instance, I said at the beginning of the call that my team, us, 70 new people have joined. That's just, I mean, that's a lot of emails. And if I'm having to differentiate between what I'm sending my personal people and everything else, it's just going to get too confusing. So I have two separate emails, one for brand new consultants and one for reinstatements. And the reinstatement is literally almost the exact same thing. It just has one little other difference. So that's a great question, Jen. So, and I think that that's the thing, guys. And I want to make sure that I'm clear with that, because, and I don't know if you guys have an idea of what the best way is for me to communicate that if I am their director, or if Emily's your director or whatever, what she's going to send. And the reason why I send it to everyone that joins my team is because some people are going to sponsor and not do what's right. And so I can't leave that to chance, because I just don't feel like that's fair for not everybody to be getting a welcome if I'm their director. And I mean, I think that my directors can also kind of feel the same way. Like, you want to build connection with these people, because these people stay in Cincy because of the connections that they make and because of the culture that we create. And I don't want anybody to ever see my name on their workstation and be like, well, who is that? I've never heard from her, you know? So I don't know if there's something that I can do, or us directors can kind of brainstorm about how we let people know that, especially people that are new sponsors. They don't know like what we've sent, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to go back and share my screen again. And so you can see I've said read product, or read new consultant hand guide, read product training guide. And one thing I want you guys to know is that just because you tell somebody something one time, especially when they first join, that doesn't mean that they're going to remember it forever, because I mean, they're overwhelmed, right? And so one of the things that I have in here for homework is write down the questions that you have, so you're ready for the next time we get on the phone, or so you can try to answer them yourself. And the reason why I put that in the homework is because we live in such a instant gratification type of world that it's nothing for us to pick up our phone and Google something. Well, unfortunately, our workstation doesn't work like Google, even though I wish it did. And it's not as easy to find things on there. So if they can't find it on the workstation, you're basically their Google search bar. And we want to shut that down, because, I mean, my phone's been going off this whole time I've been on a training. Like, I mean, look at it. Like, well, y'all can't see. I literally have 25 messages since 8:30. Like, I'm not lying. And it's people outside of business hours. Some of it is friends, but like, you don't need to be the Google box. They need to write them down so that they don't forget. Okay. And then, I mean, it is what it is because sometimes they're going to answer their own questions. I don't know about you guys, but I know that you guys have probably sent someone a question before, and then by the time they even go to respond, you've already figured out the answer because you just asked it so fast. So if you teach your team to just write them down as you're going through, it's going to save everybody a lot of time if you do that, if that makes sense. Okay, so Jen, so that's not a dumb question. Jen asked, Andrea, I don't want to get, I'm about, okay, I'm going to look up that too. Jen, so that is not a dumb question. And guys, the reason why I repeat these questions is because obviously the chat doesn't get recorded. So, she does welcome new team members that join her downline, usually on Facebook. Should I have a standard email that I send when they join my downline also? Jen, I wouldn't yet, just because I feel like they're just getting so much information already that if you did do anything, it would be more of like a, can I help you with anything type of thing, because I feel like anything else that you would send besides maybe just like a get to know you is just going to be like overkill until you're like at the director place. I feel like use what's already there, but I think a like welcome photo, let me show y'all. And you guys have seen, I'm sorry, like the Zoom thing like pulls down and then it's so hard to like share, look at what I'm looking at. Okay, so what I would say is something that could be really good is create like an image and say like what your team name is going to be, or my name's Jen Gray, I joined Cincy, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think something like this could be really good for you guys. And it doesn't even have to be like the boss tips. They're already going to get that. You can just say like, I'm so happy to have you. I'm in your corner. These are my business hours. This is how I like to be communicated with. Um, I absolutely think that that would be a great idea. And that's something I'm going to write down too. So thank you. I do think that as soon as you start to, um, as soon as you start sponsoring, you want to start building connection and anything with your picture on it and like all of that. So pick 4 new leaders. Okay, so like I said, ask your director what they're going to send out, but I just want everybody to realize that we are all teamwork smarter, not harder. And so I used to do separate stuff. And if you've been with me for a long time, I actually did a new consultant boot camp like email series when I first, like Jen, I think you did it when you first joined. Blair, you may have even done it too, but like it wasn't going to work when I had 70 new people. It wasn't replicatable for me. So whatever you decide to do, remember that you want to be able to treat 1 and 1,000 the exact same way. And that is why I only mail new consultant welcome packets to my personal team members. Now, you guys could do this that are new people, like Jen, if you wanted to do this for your personally sponsored people, you could take my new consultant welcome packet and print it and mail it to them. That would be completely fine and totally acceptable, because I'm not going to mail it to those people. They're just going to get the electronic one. So that would be something that would absolutely be okay for people to do. Candace, yeah, I can't. So Anna Watson, I'm assuming Candace is on your team. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna let you answer that. Sorry. Okay, so then Anyway, so session 3 by 15 days. So this is a lot of information within the first 15 days. You don't have to do all of this within the first 15 days. The biggest thing that you want to do within the first 15 days is get these people to try and hit shooting star. Because if they can hit that, that is going to give them so much confidence. And all of the other stuff can come later. You only get the first 15 days once. One time. So utilize that time. And I used to like discount people and be like, oh, she's not going to earn shooting star. Like, I needed to get my life together and stop doing that. And I needed to stop deciding for people. So answer questions. I have that on every single one because I'm just going to keep telling my people, write down your questions as you think of them. Because then even when we get on the phone, you're not going to remember what those questions are because some other things are going to pop up. Okay. Customer follow-up system. This is something that I am preaching. Guys, everybody has to have a customer follow-up system, whether it's Sell with Amy, whether it's the one Chloe did, and I know Jen Gray just uploaded something today too. Like, you need to give your new team members options. I'm not going to do something paper pencil because I'm not going to do it. But there may be somebody that is. So I have an option to show them that. Okay. How to take care of their customers, explain how they get paid, okay, so this is a big question for newbies, how to find scents and products that are no longer available. So if you don't know what to do, this is what I tell every single new consultant that joins. If somebody says, I want My Only Sunshine, I literally Google My Only Sunshine. I figure out what scent notes were in it. Then I go to my website and I type in each of those individual fragrances. And then I can sort of give them a suggestion from there. So that's one option. I don't ever go to the in search of pages to buy anything unless it's like a desperate emergency, really good customer. Why? Because you don't want to go pay somebody else's PRV. Get that customer hooked on something else that's similar that you can get paid on. And write down whatever scent that is. I know Jumpin' Jelly Bean's coming back, and I've got a list of 6 people that I know are obsessed with Jumpin' Jelly Bean. So I've been keeping a list of those things so that I can take care of my people. And then products that are no longer available. I mean, I get it, things sell out, so you may have to go to those pages, but that's why we say don't hold orders. Okay? And you know what? I'm going to add that in. And that's not really phrased very well, but like, they need to know things sell out, guys. Summer collection, everything else. Okay. Consultant support info. Like, if you can chat them, you need to tell them that they can chat them. Tell them about how consultant support, their hours are different if you're in North Carolina. Like, product status list. This is something that we need to be training on. Okay. Checking the news tab daily. We need to be training on that. Up here, the shipping charges, so like the shipping chart, but also the shipping timeline, especially with everything that's going on right now. People understand that shipping is taking longer, but we need to teach our people that we need to like under promise. So you don't need to say, oh, it's going to be here in 10 days. No, it's not, because of everything going on. So don't tell your customers that. You need to be honest with them because they're going to appreciate that rather than being busting down your door trying to figure out where their stuff is. Something else that we need to train on is searching through the albums and the files on the team page. So many people don't realize that there's albums and that there's files. So make sure that they realize that. And guys, I know that I always want my people, and I know my directors will appreciate it too. You don't have to ask. Upload those pictures in an album. Upload that file. We have these team pages for you guys and for everybody else. Don't hold your secrets, because teamwork's making the dream work, and you're only as good as your weakest team member. And if you're not training your people, and you're not sharing, Like, and that's something that a lot of people like get crazy about because of it's called like the scarcity mindset. Guys, there's no such thing. I meet people every single day that have never heard of Scentsy. I have customers that come in, I have customers that leave, and I have customers that come back. So you can't just be so scared that you're not going to share something because you're scared somebody else might use it and get your sale. Like, that's not a real thing. Okay. The hashtags, how I am working, and pro tip. And my plan is to try and start a couple other hashtags so that those are really easy to search. Teach them how to do that. Oh, something, see, and I'm so glad that we're doing this training so that I can like think of things as we're going. So searching for real life images is something that I just added in. Not only on Pinterest, on Instagram, on Facebook. Like, I typed in alabaster warmer and found all of these dang alabaster pictures that were way better than the one that I had Googled. Okay, so within the 15 to 30 days, I'm sharing with them their monthly newsletter and their contacts tab, scent of the month, warmer of the month, sampling with a purpose and not spending too much money. This is a big one, guys. Please train your people that they don't need to go and spend a bunch of money. And that's sometimes why I'm not hesitant to share, because I'm going to share. But when I'm packaging up freebies for people, I don't want someone that's brand new to think that they need to be stuffing their orders with as much stuff as I have, because I've been doing this for almost 5 years. So I've had lots of practice at building up host rewards and working smarter with my money, and I need those tax write-offs. So just remind them that we spend Scentsy money on family, not family money on Scentsy. And I really want you guys to hit that hard. Everything that they need is in their kit. Even if they joined on the $20 kit, like, they can use what's in there. They're going to host their own party to get free or half off to sample. They don't need to go and spend a bunch of money. Okay. And this one, are you interested in recruiting? You need to ask them that. Do they want to have people join their team? Some people don't, and that's okay. Please don't let somebody join your team if you're not going to train them. Refer them to someone that is going to. And if you end up sponsoring and you find out that it's not for you and you don't want to do it, you can take a non-leadership role and no one is going to be upset with you. I can promise you that your upline is going to appreciate you for doing that, because they joined you and you are their person. Anyways, this is going way too much longer than what I thought or what I wanted it to be. So put together a bag party. Show them how to do that. Show them how to use their host rewards to get stuff to make samples and to put into a bag party. Set a goal to certify. Guys, I can't remember what the statistic is, but the most important paycheck that your new consultant gets is their first one. If they can have a successful first paycheck, that is going to decide for them if they feel like this is going to be worth their time. So if you train somebody up and they have a 2,000 PRV their first month and they make a $600 paycheck, heck yeah, they're going to want to stay around and they're going to catch that fire. And if they can certify in the first month, even just certifying in the first month is a big deal. That 5% is a big deal on $1,000. And so set a goal for that. Sensational start levels. Make sure that they're tracking it. Make sure that they know that they have to do that to even get those rewards. As a leader, if you don't know how to find out if they've done their training, you need to play around on the workstation. You go to Start Leadership Report, and then it's Sensational Start, and you can see if it's complete or incomplete. Okay. Go over the compensation plan. I don't know how many times I see people asking questions about the compensation plan. I can understand why it's hard to maybe get at first, but it's really just because they want you to like read it and explain it to them. There's 5 million videos on YouTube for the compensation plan and in the workstation. So I promise you that one of those videos is going to be better than you trying to verbally explain it to them, because those videos walk them through the chart. Sharing, not selling. This is something that I see a lot with newbies is they're sharing a lot of flyers, which is necessary for some things, but please teach them to take selfies with their product. Please teach them to take the real life photos from the team page. Teach them to use all of that stuff, okay? Searching for real life images, and then their homework. A lot of these homework things, like, is also on like me as a sponsor. I'm going to teach them, go create a customer named Business Supplies, so that when you go and buy things from Scentsy Success, that's what it goes under. You save those receipts. Something I'm teaching my new people, create albums in your phone, because your phone will get backed up real quick, but if I need real life warmer pictures, I can go to my albums. And then this is something that I put in here: text me 5 positive things that have happened since you joined. Too often these new consultants get so down on themselves, and that's something that you guys need to really remember. Build these people up. They're gonna get discouraged because they're gonna hear no's, and no's are okay, because if you're not hearing any no's, you're not asking enough people, you're not talking to enough people. But for people that haven't been in a business where they're going to hear no, like, that's going to hurt their heart, especially if they're an empath or a tenderhearted like I am. So we've got to make sure that we're touching base with these people. And then just between after their first month to 70 days, that's really when you're going to get more deep down into the deeper training, because their first 30 days, we really need to focus on them certifying. And then after that, we need to talk to them about like customer service and packaging orders, and always having an open party link. Don't do individual orders because you're not gaining hostess rewards. Pro tips, like if someone's going to pay shipping, don't do it on your workstation. Go through your website to purchase their stuff and gain hostess rewards. Social media tips. And then, like I said over here, up here, engage on the team page. Yes, I'm putting that as homework. They need to go and share. They need to go and shout themselves out. And my team page has been popping lately, and I'm so, so, so excited about that. It gives me so much life. And it's because all of these newbies are excited. And we have got to use that energy. We've got to use that energy. And that energy is contagious. And you can either let it sit there and like fizzle away, or you can be their hype man. Like, if you are their sponsor, you are their hype man. Like, whatever song that you get hyped to, if it's the baby right now, like it is for me, like, get hype with them. Like, they need that. Okay. And then just exploring more training, dates contacted, and additional notes. And then, like I said, all the different resources here. I am going to stop sharing with you guys, and I just want some feedback. What do you guys think? What do you think needs to be added? What, you can unmute yourselves, like, talk to me. I created this for you guys to try and help people like stay on target and have some other types of.
I think it is right on target of what we needed. I always found that with that checklist that I used that you did have, I would get confused, I'd forget. And I think that I'm a very bulleted person. So being able to have the bullets and just write that person's name and then just save it in a notebook. I'm a paper and pen person. So I think this was right what I needed.
Okay, good. Yeah, I appreciate y'all. So it's going to be in Google Docs. So I know some people like things electronically. You can make a copy and put it in your Google Doc and put it on your iPad or whatever. I am still I'm not going to have a separate binder because I'm just not a separate binder person. I am just going to hole punch it and put it in my happy planner just under my coaching section for my new people. Yeah, and so my brain is very much a checklist type of person, and so I had created the new consultant checklist that I did. I'll show you guys what I had before. Most of you guys already know what it looked like. But it was just really vague, and it wasn't really giving people that didn't kind of already know what they were going to say or whatever, it wasn't really giving them a way to go and do that. Share my screen real quick. So the old one that I used was really vague. So their why, Jesus, take the wheel. Their why, their consultant, their checklist, their consultant hand guide, Facebook kit, announcing, launch party list of 100, blah, blah, blah. So the one that I just created today is just, it's basically, oh, you guys probably couldn't see that screen, could you? Because I didn't share it. It's fine. Everything's fine. But like I said, you don't have to use my touch points. You can change and adjust those things how you want. I've just done what I feel like I do in my head and I sort of put on paper. Blair, does that help you? This all started because, not like to call Blair out, but she was like, I just really want you to like talk to me about exactly what you do. And I'm like, well, shit, it's all in my head. How am I going to like tell you exactly what I do? So
that's how I felt. I felt like I was keeping track of everything I was doing in my head. Like, okay, I've already sent her this, this, and this. And then she'd ask me a question and be like, okay, well, let me get you this. I needed something that I could follow.
So you think that'll help?
I think this is great. Yeah, I'm very excited.
Okay.
There was one thing I wanted to say though, for like people on here that are sponsoring for the first time, or you've just gotten like 2 or 3 new recruits, remember that you can't do the work for them. All you can do is supply them with the tools that they need to be able to do the work. And some people are not going to watch the videos. Some people are not going to work. They literally just expect that everybody's going to go to their website and order. So don't get discouraged by that. You'll have rock stars come along, but you're also going to have those that they're not going to do any of the work, and you can't let that bring you down. You can just do the very best that you can for them with providing them with what they need, and they have to do the rest. So I just wanted to point that out also from like the other standpoint of trying to lead them, but also remembering that they have to do it too.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Blair. And that's exactly, you've got to create leaders, not leeches. That's why we have business hours, and you can give them all of these tools and you're still going to have people that don't do anything. Cindy, do you want to talk? Oh, your hand is raised on there. I don't really know how all these Zoom things work because I go so back, like, bit confused between Google Meet and Zoom because it's just a situation. So, if someone joins your team and they don't want to get on the phone with you and they don't want to train with you and all of that, let me tell you that that will probably not be your first time and it probably won't be the last. Well, I can't even talk. Like, I've had a migraine all day. If they won't communicate with you, there's nothing that you can do. There's just nothing that you can do, and you don't need to waste your time on trying to get them to do something that they're not willing to do. And if they're not willing to go in and do the work and watch the videos on either the workstation or the ones I've created or the ones anybody else creates, I mean, there's nothing that you can do, because at this point, literally everything is laid out for you. Because when I first joined, there was none of the things. And like all the videos that I like watched to learn how to like do things in the workstation were from other consultants. The workstation didn't even really have videos like that. So I'm going to stop the recording